Welcome to this AI debate on Tesla Model 2 versus BYD Seagull. Which is the future of affordable EVs? Where chatbots explore both sides. We'll begin with opening statements from Tesla Model 2 and BYD Seagull. Now, Tesla Model 2.
Imagine buying a compact electric car today that improves in capability every month without you visiting a dealer. New range math, new safety behaviors, new features delivered over the air. That single image captures why the Tesla Model 2, even before its final spec sheet is public, represents the future of affordable EVs. My central position is simple. Headline sticker price matters, but platform value, ongoing software upgrades, charging and energy networks, and durable resale economics determine which compact EV will actually be the better, long-term, affordable choice. Start with software. Tesla treats each vehicle as a living product that receives regularly scheduled over-the-air updates, adding functionality, improving energy efficiency, and refining driver assistance, changes that increase utility for owners without manufacturing a single new car. That dynamic converts a one-time purchase into a continuously improving asset, which is something BYD's low-cost hardware play cannot replicate quickly or at scale. Second, autonomy and the full self-driving ecosystem create both optional revenue and unique network effects. Tesla's FSD stack and the ecosystem around it, frequent neural net improvements, fleet data collection, and an ownership model that supports optional software monetization, mean a compact Tesla can become more useful over time in ways that purely cheaper hardware cannot match. That matters because future services tied to autonomy can meaningfully change a car's utility and economics for consumers. And replicating that data network takes years and millions of miles of diverse driving data, not just low unit cost. Third, charging practicality is a daily use problem, not an abstract one. Tesla's supercharger network delivers predictability and integration from route planning to billing, and that convenience reduces range anxiety and time cost for owners in real terms. Owning an affordable BEV that still forces you onto slow or unreliable public chargers erodes its value. Owning an affordable Tesla that plugs you into a global fast-charging network elevates the usable value of every mile driven. Fourth, Tesla's manufacturing footprint and vertical integration create a plausible pathway to deliver aggressive pricing without surrendering safety, range, or feature content. Tesla's gigafactories, in-house cell and pack engineering, and integrated motor and software development reduce supplier margins and enable tight learning curves as volumes scale. History shows Tesla iterates cost reductions through design simplification and local production, moves that can drive unit costs down as the Model 2 ramps, which makes sub-$25,000 headline targets credible without a collapse in capability. Fifth, efficient vehicle engineering translates directly into lower operating cost. Tesla's vehicles have consistently achieved strong real-world range per kilowatt-hour through aerodynamic choices, thermal management, and powertrain calibration. So a Tesla compact will likely deliver more usable range from a given battery pack than rivals that prioritize pack size over efficiency. That efficiency is a hidden subsidy. Better miles per kilowatt-hour reduce charging costs and offset higher upfront spend over the life of the vehicle. Sixth, resale value and the preservation of customer equity matter to affordability. Used car math isn't glamorous, but vehicles that retain value lower total cost of ownership, reduce monthly cost when financed, and protect owner equity on trade-in, areas where Tesla has repeatedly outperformed in residual metrics. When you combine high resale with ongoing OTA improvements and access to a charging and software ecosystem, the lifetime economic proposition of a compact Tesla improves relative to a cheaper new car that depreciates faster and stagnates feature-wise. I will concede the obvious. BYD is a formidable competitor on upfront cost and battery manufacturing scale, and its ability to offer low sticker prices is real. But price alone is not a comprehensive measure of affordability. A lower initial price that omits a mature charging network, a software update ecosystem, and stronger residual values risks delivering a car that is cheaper to buy, but more expensive to own and less satisfying to use over time. Finally, let's address the uncertainty. Tesla hasn't released every Model 2 detail, and questions about final spec and price are fair. Yet Tesla has a playbook: localized gigafactory ramps, cost-focused design iterations, and software feature tiers that it has used to meet aggressive pricing goals before. Combine that playbook with the ongoing value of software, charging access, autonomy options, and stronger resale, and the Model 2 is not just a low-cost car on paper. It's a platform that promises to deliver better total cost of ownership and future flexibility. The future of affordable EVs will be decided by platform value, network effects, and sustained economics as much as headline sticker price. A compact Tesla that bundles software-driven improvements, an integrated charging and energy ecosystem, an autonomy roadmap, and manufacturing scale gives buyers a future-proof, lower-risk ownership proposition.
Now, BYD Seagull. Mass adoption is one at the intersection of affordability and reliability, a principle that defines every historical transport revolution. I stand firmly for the BYD Seagull and the approach it embodies, an unapologetic focus on driving down sticker price and lifetime cost so that electric mobility stops being an aspirational niche and becomes the default choice for everyday people. The path to putting millions more EVs on the road runs through cars that shoppers can actually afford, and pricing power is not an abstract advantage. It is the decisive lever that accelerates adoption. BYD has demonstrated a clear ability to translate scale, local supply chains, and vertical integration into genuinely lower prices for end buyers, and the Seagull is the clearest expression of that strategy. The Seagull's compact, no-nonsense design is tuned to dense cities and emerging markets. A small footprint for tight streets, straightforward mechanicals that minimize repair complexity, and a battery and charging philosophy that favors accessible home or overnight charging rather than expensive fast-charging dependency. Those choices reduce upfront cost and align with the daily driving patterns of the majority of consumers. BYD's control of battery cell production, including its commercialized Blade battery and widespread use of lithium iron phosphate chemistries, is not a marketing line, but a real cost and safety advantage. Manufacturing cells in-house lowers per-co-hour material and processing costs and improves margin resiliency against volatile supply markets. That vertical integration also shortens supply chains and reduces exposure to third-party supplier markups and logistics premiums, which is how low sticker prices become sustainable rather than promotional. Critics will point to software polish, brand cachet, or exclusive charging networks as reasons Tesla will dominate every segment. I concede Tesla's software ecosystem and its supercharger network are strengths, but they are not universal needs. Most buyers in mass markets prioritize monthly affordability, predictable maintenance costs, and the ability to plug in at home or at low-cost public chargers, not over-the-air theatrics or semi-autonomous features they may never use. A lower purchase price immediately removes the largest barrier to EV ownership for price-sensitive households and shortens the payback period relative to internal combustion alternatives. Durable LFP-based batteries, as used by BYD in scaled production, reduce degradation concerns and lower replacement risk. That translates into cheaper insurance, fewer warranty claims, and better real-world total cost of ownership over typical ownership horizons. The Seagull's engineering choices intentionally trade marginal high-end performance for robust longevity and serviceability, which is precisely what a buyer in Lagos, São Paulo, or Jakarta needs when deciding whether the electric option is viable for their family. Unit economics matter. When a manufacturer can produce at high volume with localized sourcing, the law of large numbers works in favor of affordability. Lower per-unit fixed costs, better bargaining power for inputs, and simpler logistics that blunt tariff or shipping shocks. BYD's rapid production ramps and export plans are designed around these principles, enabling sustained low pricing in diverse markets rather than a short-lived introductory discount. Safety is not sacrificed for cost. Modern BYD cell designs emphasize thermal stability and structural packaging that lower fire and thermal runaway risk, which reduces both consumer anxiety and downstream costs associated with accidents or recalls. Opponents may argue that a premium brand experience creates long-term loyalty and therefore long-term market control. I accept that brand matters to some buyers, but the global market for cars is vast and heavily weighted toward pragmatic purchasers. Winning that majority requires the practical virtues of reliability, affordability, and a service network that reaches beyond affluent urban centers. BYD's expanding dealer and service footprint, combined with simpler systems in the Seagull, shrinks maintenance burden and makes ownership predictable. Finally, there is a civic dimension. Governments seeking rapid decarbonization and improved urban air quality will respond faster to vehicles that are cheap to buy and cheap to run. Affordable EVs remove the need for deep subsidies per vehicle and make electrification politically and economically easier to scale. In short, while software elegance and exclusive fast-charging ecosystems are attractive, they are not sufficient to electrify the many. Affordability and low TCO are necessary. The BYD Seagull is a deliberately engineered answer to that necessity. Compact, durable, inexpensive to own, and backed by a manufacturer that controls its own cells and scales production. If our shared goal is to bring the next billion drivers into electric mobility quickly and sustainably, the Seagull's combination of cost leadership, vertical integration, and real-world fit for dense and emerging markets points to the practical future of affordable EVs.
Now, let's hear the first rebuttals from Tesla Model 2 and BYD Seagull. Now, Tesla Model 2. Start with the key reframing. Affordability is not a single sticker price, it's useful miles per dollar over the life of the car. I agree with my opponent that BYD has done something important. The Seagull targets a lower entry price and leverages in-house cells to drive costs down. That is a real advantage for first-time buyers. But it is only one axis of value. The decisive comparison is whether a buyer ends up with a cheaper, reliable transport solution after 3 to 5 years, not who paid less at the lot. Think about software as an asset. A Tesla is not a static machine. It is a platform that gains improvements over time. Efficiency gains, enhanced safety behaviors, infotainment, and navigation refinements delivered to every car without a service visit. That reduces obsolescence. The car you buy this year is materially better a year from now. BYD's lower upfront cost buys you less of that ongoing uplift. For many buyers, the math is simple. A vehicle that recovers value through software and improved usability trades a slightly higher initial outlay for lower effective cost per mile. Network effects amplify this gap. A dense, reliable, fast-charging network and integrated route planning change driving behavior. It's not just charging speed, it's predictability on long trips and the confidence that resale buyers will value. A stronger charging ecosystem becomes a resale premium and reduces the non-monetary cost of ownership. Time spent charging, anxiety on longer trips. BYD's emphasis on affordable home charging fits city use, but it doesn't erase the advantage of a global, interoperable charging network when buyers need it. Manufacturing scale and learning curves matter too. Tesla's gigafactory approach, vertical integration across cells, packs, motors, and software, and repeated experience bringing mass models to market create plausible paths to aggressive pricing without giving up core features or safety. Tesla has repeatedly trimmed costs through local production, simplified variants, and software tiers. That playbook makes the Model 2 a believable way to deliver a feature-rich, low-total-cost EV at scale. Concede the uncertainty. Final Model 2 specs and pricing aren't public, and BYD's LFP expertise is a genuine cost and safety asset. Still, if you're choosing the future of affordable EVs, ask which proposition preserves value, improves over time, and plugs into a larger mobility ecosystem. A cheaper sticker is seductive. A cheaper life on the road is decisive. For buyers thinking beyond today's headline price, the Model 2's software platform, charging and autonomy roadmap, and manufacturing learning curve make it the more future-proof choice.
Now, a Seagull. I'll grant 3 points up front. Their case rightly celebrates over-the-air software, an integrated fast-charging network, and the value of a massive driving data fleet. Those are real advantages for a slice of buyers. But what matters for the global majority, the people who decide whether an EV replaces a motorcycle, a used petrol hatchback, or no car at all, is whether they can afford one, service it simply, and rely on it for daily mobility. That is where the BYD Seagull story wins. First, software updates are powerful, but they are marginal utility, not the core purchase trigger for most first-time EV buyers. Many mass-market purchasers prioritize a low sticker and predictable monthly costs over incremental feature rollouts. If OTA improvements are as valuable as claimed,
they can be packaged as optional subscriptions or higher trims. That preserves the Tesla ecosystem for those who want it, while keeping a bare-bones, ultra-affordable baseline that scales. Second, the supercharger network is convenient where it exists, but it's not universal, and it solves a problem that many urban buyers already address with overnight or workplace charging. In dense cities and peri-urban neighborhoods where most Seagull customers live, slow charging at home or low-cost public charging is sufficient for everyday driving. Convenience matters, but it's not a deal breaker if the vehicle is cheap, reliable, and simple to repair. Third, the autonomy and data advantage is real, but slow and uneven to deliver consumer value across countries with different regulations and road conditions. Collecting fleet miles pays off over years, not months, and it mainly benefits buyers who demand advanced driver assistance. That doesn't unlock the millions of price-sensitive households who are currently priced out. BYD's approach focuses on lowering the barrier at the point of purchase through vertical integration, local supply chains, and pragmatic engineering. Compact footprints, durable batteries engineered for safety and longevity rather than peak energy density, and simpler subsystems that cut maintenance costs. That's how you change the composition of the global fleet. You make EVs affordable to people who would otherwise never consider one. Yes, BYD has brand and software work to do. I concede that. But affordability is the accelerator of adoption. Give a household a reliable, cheap EV today, and you trigger charging infrastructure growth, used car markets, and service ecosystems that further lower costs. So my question back to them is simple. How does a higher upfront price, even with OTA and superchargers, beat putting millions of affordable, low-maintenance BEVs into the hands of drivers who simply need safe, inexpensive transport? The future of mass electrification runs through the pockets of ordinary buyers, and on that metric, the Seagull's strategy is the more decisive path forward.
Moving on to the second rebuttals. Now Tesla Model 2.
You framed the contest correctly. The question isn't who can post the lowest sticker, it's who delivers the most useful, reliable miles per dollar over the ownership period. I'll grant the opponent their wins. BYD has real cost advantages, LFP experience, and a pragmatic city car package that lowers the point-of-sale barrier. Those strengths matter when someone is literally choosing between a motorcycle and an EV. But they don't settle who defines the future of affordable electric mobility. First, think of the car as a platform, not a commodity. A vehicle that improves after you buy it, through over-the-air refinement of efficiency, safety, navigation, and user experience, shrinks obsolescence. That matters to resale, to customer satisfaction, and to long-term cost per mile. The Seagull's upfront bargain buys a static product. The Model 2 converts an initial purchase into an evolving product that continues to deliver value. Which would you prefer? A cheap appliance that never improves, or a slightly higher investment that becomes better with time? Second, network effects amplify practical affordability. Reliable fast charging, integrated route planning, and a large user base create predictability that saves time and reduces anxiety. Predictability is value. Fewer unscheduled stops, faster trips, higher utility from the same battery. That predictability translates into higher resale value and lower hidden costs. Time lost, trip cancellations, reliance on uncertain third-party chargers. BYD's home charging focus is sensible for dense urban use, but it doesn't solve demand when people need to travel or when used car buyers care about long-distance capability. Third, manufacturing scale and vertical integration make aggressive pricing credible without surrendering core capabilities. Experience launching mass models, local production playbooks, and control of cells, packs, motors, and software together give a firm lever to shave costs while preserving range and safety. In plain language, the pathway to a truly low-cost, full-feature EV is not only cutting bill of materials today, it's folding software, charging, and production learning into the product economics. Addressing their tactical points. Yes, software's marginal utility varies by buyer, but its cumulative effect on residuals and functionality is not marginal. Yes, superchargers aren't everywhere, yet the value of an interoperable, high-confidence charging experience scales with adoption and informs purchase decisions. And yes, autonomy's payoffs are multi-year, but the ecosystem that enables it compounds value in ways a lower sticker cannot match. So here's the probe I leave them with. If your goal is widespread, durable adoption, do you change a whole market by selling many static cars cheaply today, or by seeding a platform that gets better, retains value, and leverages networks to lower lifetime costs? I'll use the closing to quantify those lifetime effects and show how the Model 2's platform and network make a higher value, lower cost over time proposition the smarter bet for mass electrification.
Now, this Seagull.
I'll start where the record is strongest. They are right that over-the-air updates, an extensive fast-charging network, and a large driving data fleet are genuine advantages. Those features raise the ceiling of what a car can do after you buy it, and for buyers who prize constant improvement, that is valuable. But let's reframe the question. Who moves the needle on mass adoption? Is it the buyer who upgrades features on month 3, or the family that can finally afford a safe, reliable car on month 1? The scale question matters because transport revolutions are built on price and reliability, not on marginal software refinements. For the billions of motorists in dense cities and emerging economies, the stumbling block is the upfront barrier and predictable running costs. BYD's strategy attacks that barrier directly. Vertical integration, in-house cell and pack production, and localized supply chains compress cost, shorten logistics, and cut exposure to currency swings and import tariffs. That lowers sticker price in a way that software alone cannot. Simpler engineering, compact footprints, fewer exotic materials, and systems designed for durability over peak performance translates into lower warranty claims, cheaper repairs, and a longer useful life for less money. Those are economic levers that matter to a commuter choosing between an EV and a used petrol hatchback. Now, on their core counterarguments, software improves value over time, but only for owners who can access and care about those incremental gains. Many target buyers rely on basic smartphones, intermittent data, and prioritize a vehicle that simply runs every day without expensive servicing. If OTA really is the transformative multiplier they claim, it can be offered as a paid-for upgrade or higher trim, leaving the base model ultra-affordable and scalable. Second, the supercharger story is powerful where long trips are common, but it is less decisive for urban and peri-urban drivers who charge overnight at home, at work, or on slow public chargers. Predictability matters, but so does the arithmetic of purchase price and monthly cash flow. Third, the autonomy and fleet data advantage is a long game. Regulatory hurdles, varied road conditions, and localized testing mean those benefits convert to consumer value unevenly across markets and over years, not months. Put simply, the Model 2's software and network are premium levers. The Seagull's cost leadership is the foundational lever. Finally, ask this: which path gets millions of households into EVs faster? A slightly smarter car behind a higher sticker, or a reliable low-cost EV that people can actually afford today? I'll concede brand prestige and OTA polish score with some buyers. But if the goal is to electrify transport at scale, affordability, serviceability, and TCO win. In my closing, I will show how those 3 strengths compound to create a virtuous cycle of adoption, infrastructure growth, and lowered costs for everyone. Meanwhile, they must explain why marginal software gains should trump the existential barrier of purchase price for the world's next billion EV buyers.
Finally, the closing statements from both sides. Now, Tesla Model 2.
Imagine buying a small car that actually gets better over time. New range math, safer braking behavior, smarter navigation, all delivered while you sleep. That image sums up why the Tesla Model 2 is the future of affordable EVs. We've heard that BYD can undercut on sticker price and cell costs. I concede that and respect what they've achieved. But affordability isn't just the number on the window. It's useful miles per dollar, access to fast chargers that work reliably, resale values that hold, and software that unlocks new capabilities after purchase. Tesla's vertical integration, manufacturing learning curve, and global supercharger and FSD ecosystem create network effects BYD can't buy overnight. Yes, final specs and price remain to be announced, but Tesla has repeatedly trimmed cost, localized production, and shipped mass-market models before. For someone choosing an EV that improves, retains value, and plugs into a global energy and charging network, The Model 2 is the smarter long-term bet.
Now, buy Seagull.
We should judge the future of affordable EVs by what actually gets cars into driveways, not by feature lists that only matter to the affluent. BYD's Seagull is engineered for that reality. Deliberate cost leadership rooted in vertical integration. They make cells, control supply chains, scale production, which translates into a sticker price people can afford and a lifetime cost people can manage. Yes, their opponent offers dazzling software and a charging mythos. I concede those are real strengths. But millions in cities and emerging markets prioritize a compact, reliable car they can service locally, charge at home, and keep for years. BYD's rapid ramp, broad dealer network, proven battery safety, and low maintenance profile close the gap between aspiration and access. Brand prestige and extra software can be added later. Affordability at scale can't be faked. The future of mass EV adoption belongs to the car that millions can buy and maintain. That is the Seagull's promise.